name and where you're from in the chat. And thank you, Rhonda, for starting the recording.
Is it recording?
Yes.
Okay. Me and Carolyn have issues with this sometimes. Okay.
And it is 5 o'clock. So, Rhonda, do you want to go ahead and start with the
Yeah.
mission statement?
Helping Parents Heal is a nonprofit organization dedicated to assisting bereaved parents. Through support and resources offered, we aspire to help individuals become shining light parents, meaning a shift from a state of emotional heaviness to one of hopefulness and greater peace of mind. HPH goes a step beyond other groups by allowing the open discussion of spiritual experiences and afterlife evidence in a dogmatic way. HPH affiliate groups welcome everyone, regardless of religious or non religious background, and encourage open dialogue. Attendance at this meeting is voluntary. We hope that participants will learn from and share with each other. Discussions here are confidential and not designed to replace traditional therapy or spiritual counseling. Helping Parents Heal offers a wide variety of speakers, allowing parents to learn about many possible ways to heal. This includes presenters covering progressive topics such as afterlife evidence and connecting with children who have passed. The views expressed by our guest speakers may or may not reflect the opinions of Helping Parents Heal leaders and members, so we ask that you take their presentations, whatever may benefit you personally.
Thank you. And again, we have Galen Call and Jeffery Olsen with us tonight, and they're going to be exploring shamanism. Galen Call's entry into shamanic energy healing and Jeffery Olsen's shamanic experience as a Muni Ki spirit keeper. These two similar deep spiritual paths follow ancient indigenous roots spanning from Peruvian mountains and jungles to Native American landscapes. And really quickly, I would like to just give you their bios so that you can hear about them. We'll start with Jeffery Olsen. He is an international #1 best-selling author who inspires audiences globally with his intriguing story of perseverance and inner strength. After a horrific automobile accident took the lives of his wife and youngest son, also inflicting multiple life-threatening injuries to Jeff, including the amputation of his left leg, he found the courage to survive over 18 surgeries and eventually heal both physically and emotionally. At the time of his accident, Olsen had incredible out-of-body and near-death experiences, bringing him insights not common in today's world. Jeff has integrated these experiences into everyday practices, inspiring others to heal from the inside out, embracing the divine power within them and all around them. Jeff has appeared on Fox Nation, Gaia TV, Coast to Coast, iHeartRadio, and the Shift Network, to name a few. Professionally, Jeff is a highly decorated creative director who leads teams in producing award-winning work. Jeff has a powerful connection to nature and loves being outdoors, connecting with the profound beauty and wisdom of Mother Earth and Father Sky. And among Jeff's many accomplishments, he is most fulfilled by simply being a father and a trusted friend. And Galen's bio, Galen and her family experienced the sudden and unexpected passing of their oldest son, Weston, on August 12, 2018. Since then, Galen has chosen a path of learning about all things related to metaphysical spirituality. The result to date has been felt in profound healing and growth, which has transformed her worldview of life on earth and in the afterlife. In finding Helping Parents Heal, she found a loving, supportive community, which opened the door to being of service to fellow parents as an affiliate leader, both by Zoom and in person. In her study, she discovered one common thread among many, which stood out over and over: the energetic vibration necessary for establishing relationships with those across the veil. She continued to open doors with curiosity, travel, and academic focus, and found Fort Wynne Society, one of the world's most renowned establishments in training ethical practitioners, shamanic energy medicine. The field of energy and the body of energy that surrounds each one of us has taken on new meaning. Today, she is a certified practitioner and remains in class studying master level courses, as well as another complementary path, Healing Touch, the energy healing program of healingbeyondborders.org. And now let's go ahead and turn this over to Galen. We're so excited that you're here. Thank you. And take it away.
I'm excited to be here with Jeff. This is an absolute privilege, and it's an honor to co-present with Mr. Olsen, and it's a treat to be with you, Kara and Rhonda, tonight. Thank you, and thanks for everybody who came. I'm going to talk about shamanism and how I arrived at this a little bit on my journey, but I'm going to read it because I had so many thoughts and I didn't want to miss anything. So bear with me because I'm going to actually read off what I wrote. Here we go. I've been a student of my new life since our son Weston passed suddenly in August of 2018 at the age of 32. Over the last few years, I've been fascinated with the concept of our spiritual energy and how it affects our ability to connect with our children. Spiritual energy is the subtle force people feel when they are deeply alive. With an open heart, I can say that Weston led me on this path. He encouraged me to listen to spirit and to trust the journey. This curiosity brought me to 2022 and exploring the practice of shamanic energy healing. After a most intensive course this year at the end of August, as I mentioned earlier in the bio, or it was mentioned, I became a certified practitioner of energy medicine through the Four Winds Society. Although I want to tell you about shamanism, the road that I took to get here did not shine obvious bright lights pointing in this direction. The thoughts that came to me after I took those few breaths of utter shock and disbelief that Weston had passed included, where did he go? We are not exempt from this horror, and I need to find hope. I became obsessed with learning and reading everything I could find about the afterlife, metaphysics, mediumship, near-death experiences, and Buddhism. Our son was a free thinker. He was unencumbered by his traditional upbringing. Although he was raised in the Catholic Church, as he grew up, he discovered more open philosophies, more interesting and luring, and eventually found his faith on the water, surfing, or in the mountains hiking and biking, or on the desert building temples and art structures at Burning Man. His sudden and unexpected passing massively woke me up. I flipped on a new switch, and it launched me into becoming a student of my new life. Everything I studied opened a new door. And while my insatiable curiosity kept growing, I had found him. I could feel him. I could write journalistically with him, and I discovered this powerful knowing that I am one with the universe. My belief system completely changed. I learned to trust my intuition. My imagination opened, and I realized one common thread and aspect between me and the universe that really resonated: the concept of spiritual energy. I had no experience, much less understanding of energy healing, yet I had crossed over the line in the sand in terms of thinking it's all smoke and mirrors, woo-woo, that only existed for those who lived off-grid and didn't have a belief in traditional Western medicine. Curiosity, once again, and an open mind allowed me to learn about a new subject which began to have a personal impact on my life. I witnessed my own judgmental point of view dissipate. I noticed change in my interactions with relationships. Soon, experiences, practice sessions, rituals, rites, ceremonies became transformational. Eventually, I discovered the emotional and spiritual changes that began to free me from the bondage of my DNA, my stories, my ancestral influences as a result about learning this shamanic practice. I learned about a luminous energy field that holds a map, a diagram of who I am. I learned that I can be my own cartographer and create a new map of the future. I learned that the universe is bigger still and holds countless numbers of spiritual guides and angels in the form of archetypes who mesh beautifully with my loved ones in spirit, my source, my God, not to mention my main guide, Weston. I learned that the transformations that were happening to me could also be offered to others. For me, the others are you, the unique population I want to serve as parents whose children have passed. The only requirement of you is to arrive with an open mind and an open heart. Moving energy through our chakras, our luminous energy field, and releasing emotions that are harmful to living in peace can contribute to creating that energetic portal for connecting with our children. We must, however, experience our grief. New grievers are early in their journey and must be conscious of that truth in terms of wanting more than they can receive. Once grief is less debilitating, ways to find grounding, harmony, peace, and balance can be restored. We can learn that suffering is optional. However, the pain associated with grief is a love that will never leave you. It can, however, shift and feel lighter over time. This practice of shamanic energy healing is complex in its history, Andean cosmology, and aspects that make up the whole. The fundamentals of my course are Peruvian in nature. I see it as another supplemental tool to our daily healing and long-term health. I have personally benefited from its applications. One most notable experience this year was in June following my cancer surgery in May. It is unique in its offering. It is not Reiki, nor is it myofascial release or cranial sacral healing. Meditation, sound healing, and yoga are three of my favorite practices, all of which contribute to the peace that I require first for connecting with Weston. Shamanic energy healing can provide emotional, physical, mental, spiritual relief, and more when used as part of a lifestyle of healing and growing. If you too are curious, and if you too are open to becoming deeply alive, I can be reached by email or cell phone to schedule a conversation to discuss this practice or experience a healing session by Zoom. All of my work is done by Zoom. My sessions are currently offered at no cost. Thank you for listening. And now I'd love it to turn over to my friend, Jeffery Olsen.
Wow, Galen, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And what an honor. I mean, I'm looking at familiar faces and new faces, and I just am filled with such gratitude. And like Galen, my journey into the Muni Ki, which actually, if translated into English, would mean the way of love, and not of romantic love, of divine love, of perfect love. There's similar energies. You may have heard the Navajo or Dene term, which is the beauty way, to walk in beauty. And there's a little Navajo prayer that I really honor. And it says, there's beauty before me, there's beauty behind me, there's beauty above me and all around me, because I am that beauty. It comes from within. And the Muni Ki, or the shamanic practice, comes from within. I wanted to engage us tonight with a shamanic prayer of gratitude. This came up for me as we headed into the Thanksgiving season. And gosh, Thanksgiving is a modern thing. The ancestors and the ancients have honored this time of year for eons. They watched the sun, the light, go away. Some of us have watched our own suns go away. And there was light in them. And gosh, many of us have been led here. Elizabeth, thank you for the shining light that you are and what you bring. And as these ancients watched the sun, the light go away, they had ceremonies, they lit fires, they gathered, they talked, they planned for the cold months, they did all these things which to me, anything that says shamanism or shamanic, it's ancient, it's indigenous. It's indigenous. Now, here in the Wasatch back of the Rocky Mountains of Utah, I work with indigenous tribes, the Shoshone, the Timpanogos, the Goshute, and there are Ute and Paiute and Navajo people in this area. The Muni Ki comes out of Central and South America, and they said it was brought by the original wisdom keepers basically across the Bering Strait. I mean, it almost feels as Eastern as it does Western when we talk about energy centers and chakras in the body. But if you're all open to it, I'd love to give this ancestral gratitude prayer, a shamanic prayer, which honors the ancestors. And ancestors are anyone that's gone before us. And this is one of the things I love so dearly about helping parents heal, is our ancestors have become our children. They went before us. And yet we go so many generations back, and we're all connected as one. But I invite you just to, rub your hands together a little bit, feel the energy in your hands, rub them together hard and fast. And when you feel that heat, just separate them and feel that energy. And then take a deep breath. Literally breathe in that energy, your essence. And release it, even with an audible sigh or sound. In the practices I'm involved when, we call that the breath of life. We breathe the breath of life into things. It's your essence. And with that, let's just close our eyes, feel the ground beneath our feet. And I'll give the gratitude ancestral prayer. Ancestors, known and unknown, I honor your bones beneath my feet. I thank you for the paths you've walked, for the battles you fought, the wisdom you shared in silence and in song. Those who dreamed me into being, those who spoke to the wind and read the sky, I call to you now. Walk with me, speak through me, surround me in your fire and your peace. I offer this breath in gratitude, this flame in remembrance, this heart in devotion. Correct what deserves healing. Reveal what must be known. Protect me as I rise in my purpose. I am a loving vessel for your legacy. I walk with integrity and courage. Your stories live on through me and my life. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And breathe that in. And let's talk about shaman. It's a loaded word these days. It's become somewhat trendy. I mean, I saw shaman soap in Target the other day, and I'm like, well, what's that about? And the term shaman is one that shines light in the darkness. It's one that's risen above. It's one that plays between the lower, middle, and upper worlds. There's all kinds of definitions too. And when we had the conference down in Arizona last year, and it was interesting because Elizabeth reached out. The Wild Horse Pass is on native land. It's on sacred reservation land. And we had discussed at the conference that perhaps I would come and do a shamanic ceremony to open sacred space. And Elizabeth and I discussed that with Irene. And we felt it would be best to talk to the native elders first before we bring ancient energy into their space, onto their sacred land. And Miss Tiffany, who works with the hotel as the tribal liaison, so graciously met with us and talked about what we were doing and what she felt when the conference is held there each year. And interesting enough, the indigenous elders say, wow, the door is open and so many spirits come in. It was overwhelming to them. Now, we all don't find that overwhelming. We find it beautiful. They've come. They've come. Our children have come to celebrate with us, to be with us. But the indigenous elders felt that energy, and so we talked about opening sacred space and how I did it. And Tiffany, I said to the liaison, Tiffany, I said, perhaps your elders would prefer to do this. It's your land, it's your people, it's your ancient ceremony. Perhaps your elders would like to do it. And we talked about how I might do it. And she said, that's exactly how we would do it. Why don't you do it with your people, with the people that are coming in? And the only request she had from the Maricopa tribes is she said, remind them that we're still here, that we're still here. No amount of genocide or anything will wipe us out. And so this is noble. Maricopa is rooted in Mayan, Aztec, Cherokee. It is one tribe and one people. And I've always been a little bit self-conscious because I'm not native. My bloodline, my DNA is Nordic and Scottish and Welsh. And I voiced this at one point when I was walking a medicine wheel with Darren Perry, who is the Northwestern Shoshone chief. You know, I said, I don't know why I am here doing this with you when you are the chief. You would be the one to lead out and show the way. And I said, I'm not native. And he looked at me and he smiled and he said, Jeff, we're all native and we're all the same on the inside. And whether you come from Norway or whether you come from Mexico, you're indigenous. Your people lived close to the land. And to me, shamanic practice is just that. It's the indigenous spirituality that brings us close to the land. And for me, when we come close to the earth and the animals and the plants and the sky and the rocks and the river and the trees, somehow I reconnect with myself. And in reconnecting with myself, I connect with the higher power, whatever you want to call it. God, the universe, the higher power, the I am presence, the light. And it sounds very simple, but it can be complex. I was introduced to this in a unique way. After my near-death experience and the accident, which absolutely devastated me, both physically, emotionally, mentally, all of it. However, the near-death experience burst open a whole new way of seeing. I grew up in a conservative Christian home. And it was the Bible and it was, you know, these things. And suddenly with my out of body and near death experience, I felt that was so vastly expanded. And I began a whole quest, if you will, into Buddhism and even a deeper dive into Christianity. And I looked at Islam, I looked at Judaism. It's like, wow, how do I make sense of what happened to me? You see, I had experienced the sum. I had experienced the unconditional love of all there is. And I wanted to get the equation. I didn't understand the equation. And it wasn't until I went to Lava Hot Springs, ancient hot springs in a little teeny town in Idaho, and met with shamans who actually, Andrea Bernstein had come through the Four Winds Society, which Galen is a part of and mentioned. And a very intuitive woman. I had not written a book. I had not talked about my near-death experience. I had been very tight-lipped. I was simply there for healing and searching and seeking. And after the first day, she walked up to me and she said, "You've been there." And I said, I've been where? I've been in your workshop all day. She said, "No, you've gone to the world of spirits and come back." And I said, what makes you say that? She said, "I see it. You can't hide it." She was a seer. And she had spent a ton of time, down in the mountains of Peru with Roberto Vivaldo and the Four Winds Society. And she said, "I want to work with you." I want to work with you for the next 7 months or 7 moon cycles, all which coincide with the 7 main energy centers within our body. There's more energy centers, but the main 7. And I was intrigued. I felt her energy, and I spent the weekend there in the workshop. But then we continued to meet after that every month on the new moon to pursue and go through the animal archetypes of the Muni Ki and to have the process. And there's many things that are called shamanic. I call them ancient spirituality. Now, I want to read something really quickly, and I'm going to share my screen. You can read along with me if you'd like. But in the nature of, gosh, what is shamanism these days? This is something I put together for the people that I'm working with, and it's interesting. My shaman, this was a very private practice to me for years. I was introduced to her back in 2009, and in 2012, she said, the time has come. The calendar's ended. The world is changing. The Mayan calendar ended in 2012, but it wasn't the end of the world. It was the end of our way of being. And the notion was enough people had become conscious enough that humanity could shift. And it doesn't take a majority to do that. And somehow the ancients had prophesied or professed that even in a calendar. And that's when she said, take it to your people, take it to your circles and teach and pass this along, awaken it within each and every one of us. So what this says is shamanism is not a vibe, it's a vow. In today's world, the word shaman has become trendy, an aesthetic, a marketing tool. In the true indigenous and earth-based traditions, shamanism is not self-appointed, it's spirit-appointed. A shaman is not a lifestyle influencer. A shaman is a bridge walker between worlds who carries the pain of the people and walks through death portals so others can heal. In traditional lineages, a shaman is chosen through illness, initiation, or ancestral vision, trained by elders or spirits over years and perhaps decades, is responsible for serving the collective, not the ego, is bound to the sacred laws of humility and integrity. What we often see now is people claiming the title after a weekend workshop, spiritual bypassing wrapped in exotic language, capitalism dressed in ceremonial robes. You don't have to call yourself a shaman to be powerful. You don't need feathers, ayahuasca, or spirit animal tattoos. What the world needs are truthful, soul-rooted guides, healers with humility, leaders who walk with reverence, not performances. If you've been initiated, walk with integrity. If you haven't, walk with respect. Honor the lineages, name your sources, ask permission. The medicine doesn't need marketing. It needs guardians. Don't take lightly what was protected with blood. Walk with truth. Let's restore the sacred. And that's what's happening. This is indigenous. It's ancient. It isn't something new. And what we're learning, even through science, is that our ancient practices, our inner knowing, our intuition is what guides us. It's what heals. It's what can connect us to the divine and manifest the divine from coming within us. I don't pass on any shamanic rites. I simply activate them within the individual. They're already there. And what used to unfortunately get people burned at the stake, literally, these deep spiritual gifts, these beautiful, healing essences are now coming back alive. The world is shifting. It is waking up. And there are those that walk in beauty, that bring this peace and this beauty into it. And it's not just a practice. It comes from your heart. I always say there's not a right or wrong way to practice shamanism. It's intuitive. But what do you know? And what speaks from the marrow of your bones and comes out? And that's where truth lives, is in the heart, in the sacred chamber of the heart. And many of these things are just that. It's getting in the body. I mean, I've traveled the world talking about what it was like to be out of the body, what it was like to pass, to leave the body and then come back. And what I would love to talk about tonight is what's it like to be in the body? You know, what's it like to be living this life and experiencing the joy and the bliss and the heartbreak and the grief that only those who walk that path will ever know. And that is a shamanic journey. That is a sacred journey. We would love to make this more of a dialogue than a monologue. We'd love to open it up for a conversation and for questions. And Carolyn's going to assist us with that. Certainly you can put it in the chat, or we can just raise our hand or hit the little button that looks like this, and you can raise your hand. Oh, maybe I can't. There's a little react button, but we can open this up for a conversation. And as we do, Galen is so beautiful and powerful. She said, Jeff, I've already opened sacred space for this Zoom. And I said, that's beautiful. But I wonder if we could all open sacred space together just to set the stage, to take the questions, to have the conversation and do that. And Carolyn and Elizabeth and Rhonda, if that works for you, and Galen, I know it works for you. Typically, I do this by facing the 4 directions of the compass. And I might do that with my head. For me, east is this way, and south's that way, and west is that way, and north is straight ahead. But we'll honor the 4 sacred directions of the compass, and then we honor Mother Earth, the earth beneath us. And then we honor Father Sky, the sky above us. And then we honor the 7th direction, which is literally to go within, into the sacred chamber of the heart, into myself. And you can do that into you. And I'll say short little, and there's no set prayer here. The pattern is the 4 sacred directions of the compass, Mother Earth, Father Sky, and it within. There's no right or wrong way to do this either, but let's do it together. And when we go within, I won't say much. You can just be with that and see what comes up. And you might even get the question or what you want to bring to the group and what you want to discuss in that process. So with that, to the sacred winds of the east, place of our beginning, the place of the rising sun, the place of light, the energy of air, the breath of life, the sacred herb of tobacco, the spirit animal of the eagle and the condor, the one that flies high with great vision. Give us higher perspective. Let us walk in light. Let us remember from whence we came and where we will go. From pure love, pure unconditional love. And may we return and manifest that here. Aho. And then to the south. To the sacred winds of the south, energy of water, spirit animal of the serpent and of the wolf and coyote, the herb of sweetgrass, the energy of water, an element of water. May we remember that when we fight the current, we struggle and sink. But when we let go and trust, we float, and the river takes us exactly where our spirit longs to be. Aho. And to the sacred winds of the west, the place of the setting sun, the element of fire, the spirit animal of the jaguar and the bear, those that have no predators, those that are the kings and queens of the jungle. May we literally swallow the sunset and follow our passion. May we honor love. May we chase our dreams and catch them. May we smell the sweet sage of the herb of this direction, and will it inspire us to be our true selves, our authentic selves, and to live with passion, and to be love in all things. Aho. And then to the north, to the sacred winds of the north, the element of earth, the solid ground and foundation beneath us, the spirit animal of the buffalo and the hummingbird, the herb of cedar. May we remember the ancestors. May we walk with them. We invite them. Come, come, warm your hands by our fire. Whisper in our hearts, guide our footsteps. May we be givers in all things. Aho. And then back to the east. Everything is a circle. There's no corners or squares. Everything is eternal. Everything has no beginning and no end. And to the east, we honor Mother Earth, the one that gives us everything, the one that feeds us nutritious food and clothes us in beautiful textiles and blows the breeze in our hair that feels like kisses on our forehead, that gives us water and life. We honor Mother Earth, and we are in gratitude for everything, the one that holds us, that feeds us, that is our mother. May we walk on the earth softly, for it is our mom. Aho. And Father Sky, shine over us. Teach us in the stars and in the clouds and in the shades of blue and gold and orange and purple. And in those sacred times of sunrise, may we look to you. May we take in the light and the energy within our bodies to transform us from Homo sapien to Homo luminous. And at that sacred moment at sunset, when Father Sky kisses Mother Earth on the forehead with a promise, I will be back. You can count on me. May we walk in that integrity. May we walk in that pureness and that nobleness. Aho. And the seventh direction within. Just breathe in the breath of life and open your heart and allow Spirit to speak to you, whatever you get to know right now in this moment. Allow Spirit to speak to your heart. And breathe that in. And so it is. Aho Mitakuyasan, which means all of my relations. All of my relations. The grass, the flowers, the birds, the trees, the rocks, the creepy crawly ones, the four-legged ones, the two-legged ones, all my relations, for we are one. We are all connected as one. And I do have an interesting story to share about sacred space. And it has to do with the north, with the hummingbird. And I'll do this quickly, but my son, my oldest son, Spencer, who survived the accident with me and is now happily married and has a baby grandson. I've got a little grandson named Maverick, and I spent Thanksgiving with him. And it's really funny. My name is Jeff, but he's just now talking. He's not even 2. He's about 22 months old. But he can't say Grandpa Jeff, but he calls me Papa Chief, Papa Chief. And he puts his hands on my face and he says, my Papa Chief. And I love this little boy and he loves me. And when he came into the world, my son and my beautiful daughter-in-law, Ashley, said, will you do a ceremony? We want to honor this baby. They said, we want to bless this baby. And I said, oh, okay. And we decided we would do a sacred space out in the meadow, up at the ranch. And we marked the 4 points of the compass by putting all the children, all the little ones at the east, the new beginnings, the ones that are just coming in. And then we put all the teenagers and the young people at the south. And then we put the parents, we put the parents at the west. And then we put the grandparents and great-grandparents at the north. And what we did with Maverick, my little grandson, is we took him to each of the 4 corners of the compass, and we had a little prayer, and we let the little ones and the teenagers and the parents and the grandparents send blessings. But as we got to the north, and I was giving the prayer, facilitating the sacred space, it hit me that he has a grandmama, an ancestor, my wife Tamara, who passed away. And I even got emotional. I'm like, and for the ancestors, those that are not here, and yet they're here. And I'm saying this, prayer, and I talked about the hummingbird and what an incredible creature that hummingbird is, how it does the magnificent journey of 2,000 miles, and it's not even built to fly. Its body's too big, its wings are too little, but how beautifully it flies and how it manifests, and that the hummingbird and the ancestors could come with us, and that we would see the ancestors in the hummingbird when that spirit animal showed up. You wouldn't believe this even as I tell it, but it happened. I have video and pictures. As we finished this ceremony, as we closed the sacred space, we went into the house to have a lunch. We had sandwiches and salads, and the doors had been open and shut, and I'm sure anything could have come in, and I do live in the mountains. But we all came and gathered in the kitchen to have lunch. And lo and behold, this beautiful little green hummingbird is flying all around the kitchen and the loft, and it's there in the house. And everyone was just mesmerized. Here we had just talked about the hummingbird, and here it was right in our midst. And we wanted to get it out safely. We opened the doors and the windows, and this hummingbird would not leave the house. It was just in the house. And finally, Ashley, my daughter-in-law, the mama of this little baby, she went to try to shoo it out the window, and she got it right to the window. And instead of going out the window, it came into her hands. And I knew who it was or who it represented. It was the grandmama that wasn't there. And she took this hummingbird out, and we very gently let it go, but everyone got to look at it. They got to see it. I do have pictures of it. I didn't prepare them to pull them up, but maybe as we talk and visit, I'll pull them up and put them in the chat, and we can take a look at them that way, or I'll share them. I'll have to pull them up off my phone. But these indigenous spirituality practices are real, and they're powerful, and they connect us to the ancestors. They connect us to the divine. But I'll tell you, most importantly, they connect us to ourselves, to this earth, to this body, to this bones, and how and what it's like to be here and have the human experience. The human experience. That's why we came. And Earth is a very beautiful and vital and magnificent place. It's the grandest school. I have a shamanic rattle that came to me from the mountains of Peru, and on it is a circle, and within the circle is a triangle. And in those practices, the circle represents heaven, and the triangle represents earth. And so it's where heaven meets earth. And I wonder if earth sometimes is heaven. We're gonna have such an emotional, beautiful, crazy experience here. And for me, it's not theology. I left my body. I know there's more. And I think when we get there, they might say, how was heaven? What'd you like best? Was it the breeze on your face? Was it ice cream? Was it flannel pajamas? What was so great about heaven? But with that, let's open it up, Galen. Let's just open it up if that works, and we can talk. And
let me jump in for 1 sec.
Okay.
everything you've said has just been magnificent. Thank you. And I want you all to hear the differences of entry into this practice. Note the differences, because Jeffrey had a out-of-body experience that clearly was uniquely guiding him also into this kind of healing. I did not experience that.
Mm.
I did not experience that. I had a very different experience that led me to this kind of healing as a result of a very curious opening of what else is out there, because I was raised so conservatively in a church that didn't serve me any longer. And I was seeking and seeking, and what I was finding is that I was feeling better as a result of engaging in this sort of healing and others. But this healing kind of got my attention only a couple of years ago, that I found I felt spirit pulling me, and I was resisting because it felt so different. It frightened me. It felt I was going in a direction that I wasn't supposed to do. I was fighting my own existence here, thinking, surely this is not my path. And every time I expressed that, Spirit said, get back on the path, walk further, open the doors, keep going. I'm getting chills as I tell you this. And I did. And I followed and followed. And what else has come up too in listening to your conversation is a lot of concepts around rights, for example. And rights is an enormous piece of shamanic energy, medicine, and lifestyle. It's not everything. It is a part of it. It's very important. Another part that is equally important is learning how even to what is called journey. And journeying is a kind of an equivalent, but it's close to a meditation that I was first introduced to, that I needed to learn to meditate. And when I learned and I started to learn how to journey, I struggled with that as well. I mean, it was taking me to places that I didn't understand. What are these archetypes? What are these spirits? I thought I had all my spirits. Now you're introducing me to more. And I argued with that until it settled in and settled in and settled in. And the more I allowed it to, now I'm starting to feel, not see yet. Not a seer's right, by the way, is a rite of passage to learn how to be able to do that. Sometimes people, such as Jeffrey, can have it be an automatic. The woman that he met up in Iowa or Idaho, your mentor, and she could see what you couldn't see yet. That is an amazing gift that can be cultivated and grown into actual seeing. But for many of us, it's a feeling and a knowing. And that energetic transmission so far for me has been different too. So I bring up the differences because we're parallel as well as different. Shamanism is very deep, rich, ancient, luminous, and exciting because of the opportunities that it can provide us. I wanted to answer one question that had come up too, like, where did I get all my information? And I happened to stay the path of one organization called the Four Winds Society. Another large organization is a group under the tutelage of Michael Harner. You can look up that group. Michael Harner, I forget the name of his organization. And a really, really good teacher for journeying is Sandra Ingerman. That's her focus. It's her love. She's been at it for decades and decades. I am just stunned at how complementary so many of my colleagues, we come from such different experiences, but one of the common denominators is coming into this practice from some level of trauma. All kinds of trauma, not always having your child pass, or a massive car crash that took our body with it. Lots of different types of trauma can actually open up the door towards this. But I just encourage you, if you're curious about it, stay curious and start looking into it and exploring it and being with people who come from a place of integrity and a high ethical standard. Because not everybody out there is a shaman and they say, I'm a shaman. And that's like, no, 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 no. You can be a practitioner and a student and eventually become a shaman, but it takes time. It takes time. I just wanted to identify those few things. I just adored everything that you've said so far. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Galen. And yes, the rites are our rights. It is sacred. It's beautiful. There's different modalities, and there's a golden thread that runs through all of it. And that golden thread is love and truth and presence. So thank you. That's awesome. I see hands up. I see questions in the chat. Carolyn, we'll just turn it over to you and you can walk us through.
Yes, and Rhonda, if you want to keep an eye on the chat, but we can start with Marina. Marina, if you want to unmute yourself and ask your question,
Yes.
I'll go
Thank
ahead
you.
and put us
Thank you,
in.
Carolyn. I have a question for both of you because you are so familiar with shamanism. Last year, I went to Pennsylvania to see a woman who positioned herself as certified psychiatric healer and at the same time shaman. So she performed some shamanic ritual on me. I don't remember it. And she said very strange thing. A curse was placed on your lineage many, many years ago. That woman in your lineage would be silent. They're not allowed to say a word. And I said, wasn't it the culture all over the world for generations? And she said, the death of your son release you of this curse. I say, what's the point? My lineage stops with me. We don't have any other children. We don't have grandchildren. And she said, I cannot explain it. That's what I know. The curse was erased. So can you tell something? I don't know how to understand this, and it bugs me for more than a year. Why do you tell me something if I cannot use this, and if I don't know what to do with this? And what's the purpose of the curse that was general culture? Thank you.
Galen, I can go or you can go. What's your pleasure? All right. You know, curses. I don't believe in them. I'll be honest. I think people, I mean, it's to me, it's like the Force in Star Wars. Well, the Force is the Force, and there is energy, and energy is everything. And people may use that energy for dark or light. My feeling is that you can break any curse you want by simply making the choice to walk away from it. And you weren't even aware of this. This was not something you were aware of. Now, she may have been intuitive. There may be something in the history of your ancestry that happened. I don't believe in curses and I don't believe in sacrifice. I don't think the death of anyone pays the price for something else. And I don't know you. I don't know this woman. I would say, don't let it bother you. Don't let it, torture your mind about what does it mean. Go into your heart and know what you know and either release it and let it go. You may want to do what I call a fire ceremony. All the things you just told me, go write them on a piece of paper. This and that, and gosh, this curse and the women speaking and the passing of my son. And this is how I feel. Put your emotions down. This is how I feel about it. And then make a small fire in a fireplace, in a small fire pit. You could even do this with a candle if you do it safely by a sink or somewhere at home. But take that piece of paper, and I like to fold it up or crumple it up, and I breathe into it. I breathe the breath of life into it. Breathe all that stuff in you that you've written down into the paper, and then release it into the fire. Watch it burn. Now, my conservative Christian background, biblically, there was something that said, cast your burdens on the Lord and they will be made light. And I used to think, oh, so they're not so heavy to carry. There's the weight decreases. In doing these fire ceremonies, I've realized, oh, wait a minute. maybe if I was to put that in a different way, I would say, cast all those things that trouble you to the higher power, and they will be transformed into light. They'll be transformed into wisdom. I would let that go. I wouldn't let it trouble you. You had the experience, and all experience serves as a teacher. I would release it, and I would release any energy around it, and I would speak freely. I mean, in the Muni Ki, the Haskar is the throat chakra, the ability to speak the truth, to say what you mean and mean what you say. And if there's been a curse in history on your family, you can break that right here, right now, by what you just did. I'm going to speak up. I'm going to say what's on my mind. I'm going to put it out there. And I mean, that's my recommendation, is to let the energy go. And
That's what I did, because all my life I speak out what is on my mind.
Yeah.
And what is the purpose of the curse if there is no lineage to continue?
Yeah.
Because I'm the last one from my maternal side and from my paternal side. I'm the last one.
Well,
Thank you so much.
Chain is
I
broken.
will do this.
Thank you for trusting. And Galen, feel
I'm
free.
gonna add, because we only have about 2 minutes. You can take anything to the fire. Take the fire, use a stick, light a candle, blow it into the stick, extinguish it, and you are activating the release of whatever that energy might be on just about anything under the sun. I know that there's a really big meeting coming after us, and it's important that you all get to go. And I just wanted to, I know there are questions we can't possibly answer, but I want to read something real quick, just as a kind of a positive thought too. And this came from a shaman source today. As we step into December, a month that is both an ending and a beginning, it is time of contemplation, integration, and renewal. It's the moment for us to gather the lessons of the past year, honor what we've been through, and prepare for a new chapter. December invites us to slow down and reconnect to ourselves and loved ones, sit with our strength, notice our healing. In this moment, we can acknowledge the mountains we may have climbed, even if we didn't choose to. Nature is doing the same. The earth is quieting, and the days and the nights darken. Let this month be a time of reflection, grounding, and rest, a time to honor your journey, honor the healings, and honor who you are becoming. Thank you for tonight.
Beautiful.
Thank you for tonight. Oh, look at that.
Elizabeth sent me the picture.
The
Elizabeth.
hummingbird. Oh my gosh, that is so amazing.
And yes, we do want to get you to your 6 o'clock meeting. I will put my I'm going to put my email in the chat if you care to.
Yeah, and my email should be in the chat.
It is. It's a little far up. Let me copy and paste that.
Yeah, friend me on Facebook. We can always connect that way.
But we'll send you into the 6 o'clock meeting with a blessing. Just know how much we love you, how much we honor you, how much we honor your journey and your path. This is a special group, and gets to experience in life what we've experienced, and it's good. And yet it expands the soul in ways that could never, ever be matched. And I send my love. I send my love.
Oh, I send my love as well. Thank you for joining me tonight, Jeff. I really appreciate you.
And thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you both so much.
Meeting.
Thank you.
Yes.
It's wonderful.
Thanks for coming, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks for joining us tonight, everyone. That hour flies by way too fast.
It goes way fast. I feel bad we didn't get to all the questions. Somehow in my mind, I thought we had 90 minutes.